everybody, it's Spencer from Constructive Criticism and Limited Time Only. 2 podcasts about getting better at Magic the Gathering. The sun just decided to come out. So this glow you see, is not my natural glow. It is in fact coming from the sun. But I'm really excited to be back. So I had food poisoning, and then I messed up a video last week that I didn't get to post it. So it's been a couple weeks since we've done Wednesday Night Warrior. I'm excited to be back. People ask me about it. These videos are fun for me, so thank you for your interest. And I am back, so we can continue. So I just recorded about a 6-minute video of me yelling, and while I think that everything I yelled about was absolutely correct, and I think that somebody should yell about this because I think it's ridiculous, I decided not to be the guy yelling. So, what we're talking about today is the everyone's favorite topic, everyone's favorite yearly topic of the handshake. So, if you play competitive Magic, or you watch competitive Magic, you've seen a lot of handshakes in your life. Every Pro Tour ends in a handshake. That's just the way it ends. Somebody offers the hand, and the other person accepts it, and it's over. That's how the concession happens. And people have some strong opinions about the handshake that I want to get into. So I want to start with the poll. So I'll get this up on the screen, but basically, I believe it was Andrea Mangucci asks, should the winner of a match offer a handshake if the opponent doesn't? With 7 hours left, currently 65% of people say yes, it's good sportsmanship. Good on you, 65% of people. 19% of people say no, it's rude. And 16% of people wanted to see the results. I would like to talk to these 19%, which, by the way, this has dramatically decreased. We are getting better at this, people. But I want to talk about why this topic comes up so much. So, there's a huge contingent of Magic players, and I mean, like, if you can't extrapolate 3,000 votes into millions of Magic players, right? Because, like, if you're off by just a few percent, then it's just a huge chunk of people that you're wrong by. But I do think that it is probably close to, like, 25% of people think it's rude, and that's way too many, guys. So here is my initial thoughts, and then I'd like to go over. Well, let's actually just do this. My initial response was not great. You can probably see it on your screen. It says, every time the Magic community gets into this topic of post-match politics, I want to vomit. Genuine kindness isn't BM, people. It's kindness. And I really believe that. I think that you deciding whether or not it was a good match and wanting to be rude to your opponent by not shaking their hand, whether because you had less fun than you wanted to have or that you lost, is actually the rude thing, not the person offering the handshake. Like, the rude thing is you saying, well, I didn't win or enjoy this match as much as I wanted to, so I'm not shaking your hand. Okay, and the other person's being rude for offering. That's where we're drawing the line. I think that's wrong. I think you're being the rude one. And I think that you defending your rudeness by saying, as the loser, I get to decide whether or not we shake hands, is just ridiculous. There are excuses for not shaking somebody's hand. One, you don't like touching people. You just tell them, hey, I don't shake hands, man. Like, we can do a fist bump. We can like finger point at each other or something. Like, there's things you can say to steer the conversation away. The fact that you just don't shake people's hands. And then there's the other excuse, which is that you're sick. Reasonable thing. Hey man, I'm a little sick. I don't want to be shaking hands. Sorry about that. Like, that's a reasonable thing. You tell them good match, you move on. But saying like, no, it wasn't a very good match. I don't want to shake your hand. Thank you. Or no, thank you. I don't want to shake your hand as the loser. It's just like, okay, but you think they're being rude. And I've had this happen to me. I was at a PPTQ. First of all, this guy's a jerk. So separate the fact that I didn't know he was a jerk during this time, but he is actually a jerk. I had a guy that I beat at a PBDQ. I went to shake his hand and he went, no, 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 no. No, no. Thank you, but no, no. And I was like, okay. He's like, you shouldn't offer the handshake as the winner. And I'm like, okay, I thought we were friendly. Like, we legitimately just had a really good match. Like, okay. He said, well, it wasn't a good match. It wasn't a good match. I clearly got unlucky. And I'm like, when you played a 7-drop and activated a 7-drop, I don't know how unlucky you got. But okay. And like, this is people using the handshake as a mechanism to increase their bad beat story. And it's just ridiculous, guys. PV had probably the best response of anybody that I saw. So I'm going to pull up these 2 tweets. He says, my view is that handshaking equals a gesture both players perform. It's not yours, so nothing is taken from you. Similarly, there's not an expectation that the loser will do it. Both players will do it. That's true. Shaking hands takes 2 people, unless you shake your own hand. In which case, that's 1 person. This light is getting so bright. I am so sorry. The only reason the loser commonly initiates the handshake in MTG is because you shake the hand any time a match is over. And in MTG, the loser often decides when that match is over. But it doesn't in any way mean that handshaking is the loser's to give or take. It's both players. And I think this is absolutely right. The reason that we see the loser shake hands so often is because they're saying, all right, I give up, good job, right? And they're shaking the hand. But that doesn't mean that they're the only one that gets to initiate it, and it certainly doesn't mean that they're the only one taking part in it. And, first of all, I would rather us have no handshakes than have this debate. Who cares? We don't shake hands anymore. Whatever. Let the whiners win. But I will say that the idea that somebody's kind actions is taken to the point where you're calling it bad manners is rude. You're being rude, ridiculous, and stupid. It is. There's not a good side to your argument. You are being salty, and I'm not gonna sit here and argue. I've argued over this in the past. I didn't even respond to people who came down on the other side of this to me. I had people DM me. I'm like, I'm not talking about this. Like, I've talked about this 5 years in a row now, it feels like. I mean, it's a yearly conversation. People talk about this so often. I think somebody else tweeted, oh no, are we on this topic again? And then Gabriel Nassif was like, yeah, but at least I don't have to see people's spell books anymore. And, come on. You know they're not being rude. You know they're not rubbing it in your face. They're trying to show an act of kindness, and you are the one being rude. And you can mask it in anything you want, but we all know what's really happening. And you should be real with yourself if you're upset when somebody offers you a handshake after a match. That's it for me for this week. Thank you everybody for watching. Don't forget to check out Constructive Criticism, Common Knowledge, Limited Time Only, 3 podcasts about improving at Magic. Don't forget our sponsor at puremtgo.com. We'll see you guys all next week. Hit that like and subscribe button and check us out on Patreon. Thanks everybody.